So, welcome to the Access Agile Free Festival. This is the theme of my speech today, talking about DevOps and Agility, the perfect match or just an illusion. So, who am I? I have more than 23 years in IT, mostly in banking and insurance industries. So the last 8 years, I'm in the expertise of IT quality, DevOps, and agility. Beginning from the last year, I'm a speaker in conferences and volunteering in IT events and making pro bono mentoring. If you want, you can look for me on the LinkedIn, okay? Here is the agenda when I will introduce a bit of DevOps and agility, the advantages, talking about the digital transformation and what else can you do? Are you in the right path, and tips and traps, okay? Let's move on to DevOps and agility. So we can start talking about the CALMS standards. It's about the culture, automation, Lean IT, measurement, and sharing. These terms come from the acronym of culture automation and the other letters that you know. And after, just Humble introduced the L because of the importance, the main of the Lean IT Foundation. Okay, it's very important because you have to eliminate this Lean overall, the programming and all the process. And some important points to say about that, it's the term was firstly speeched in the Velocity Conference with John Spall and Paul Haymond talking about the cooperation at Flickr. But the most important thing that relies on the people, they remember, it's about the plus 10 deploys per day. But the most important for me is the cooperation, not only the integration or how many times you can deploy per day. Here is the DevOps Principles. It's all about people, process, and product. It's how about you take importance about who is making the process and how you do it and why you do it to make a better product, okay? It's how you deliver a value product as soon as possible to your customer. So when we talk about DevOps, it's about the teams, development, and operations teams. So DevOps for me, it's a philosophy where the business, development, and operations teams continually cooperate and collaborate to assure that the IT solutions are available at the agreed time without interruptions. So it's important to say that between the idea and the delivery product, you don't have many handovers. Here are the many problems. So how you can integrate them with a culture and integration with the teams so you can assure the value stream mapping. And despite the use of the word DevOps as a position term, there should be no DevOps team or DevOps position. So we can resume the DevOps as a culture, the integration of the teams, the sectors, and the systemic view of the entire value stream. Don't you agree? And how about the Agile Manifesto? So here we have to highlight this document made for 17 software engineers in 2001, and we can have to highlight these four principles: individuals and interactions over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following plans. So among the 12 principles, we can highlight these four. For me, they are the best ones, the main that we have to cover in the agility world. So how about the advantages of joining these worlds? Nowadays, customers want their products and services as soon as possible. The way you deliver them faster, securely, and with high quality is the way you can win the race against your competitors. So how can we do this? How you can innovate and have the speed to market delivery? So from the necessity to innovate at a fast pace, IT organizations had to transform the way they delivered software. So DevOps and its cultural, architectural, and technical practices represent a convergence of many managerial and philosophical movements. So you have to deliver faster and brings valuable products to your customers with faster feedback, so you have the flexibility and the chance to change the route. And DevOps is, as a culture, you have to make the automation, metrics, and sharing the local information globally. And how about the mindset, agile, and the tools? So we can say that the transformational leaders shape the organization's culture and practices, leading to the higher performance with their vision, traditional, inspirational communication, and intellectual stimulation. So you can support the leadership everywhere. So the challenge lies on the people who wisely use the tools and technology to achieve higher performance. So, and with the tools, we can say about migrating all the things to the cloud. I won't mention the tools that are widely known by everyone, like CloudBees, Jira, Confluence, and Azure DevOps, GitHub, and everything. But here I can say, I want to highlight why the Agile world becomes or join to the DevOps world. So we can say that DevOps can be seen as the logical continuation of the Agile software journey. So when you are trying to bring a new product to the customer, what is your route, your pace? So you have to plan how you can prioritize what feature you will want to bring to the production. So DevOps and Agile is a complement. They complement each other to get software up and running as fast as possible. So that's why time is money. And how to start your journey using DevOps. Here is a plan of the DevOps evolution of Puppet DevOps report, where they try to say a route to do this. So with the agility, reliability, security in IT organizations, how we can do this? So first, you can build the foundation, integrating development and the operations teams. But how? One, you can do the visual control. It's the first step to do the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous development. And two, more communications between the teams. And three, we can mention the reuse deployment patterns for applications, services, and the infrastructure. Four, we can resolve the developers' users. How? Using the automation for infrastructure delivery. So they don't have to wait for the others, for the operation teams to make your environment or the mass tests and so on. And finally, the resources available self-service, so you can automate everything. This is the focus of it's the aim of DevOps. It's a perfect word. And we don't have to leave the concept of shift left all the tests and continuous quality, because focus on the beginning of the SDLC, software development lifecycle. You can include the static analysis on the code with tools like SonarQube and security, using SAST and DAST, or the analysis static or the dynamic analysis for your vulnerabilities. So you can ensure the continuous quality in your pipeline. It's very important to say that the cost to remediate in production is 30 times more expensive than when you discover it in the development phase. Now talking about digital transformation. How you can foster the digital transformation into your organization. First, talking about the transformational leadership, it's about collaboration and leadership everywhere. So a good leader affects a team performance, empowering them to do more and better. Lean product management, so no waste time in no valuable product. It's the key Agile principle. You have to give power and to development teams the authority to create and change specification as part of the development process without requiring approval. So they will be fast and accountable about their actions. And these all result in the IT performance. Is the result of the two previous items I said, transformational leadership and the lean product management, or the lean IT programming as well, because you have to avoid lean in your process and in your programming. What else can you do? It's a good question. So most of the people ask me how to ensure the best practice for DevOps. It's very important to add on your pipelines, in your process, the security, because they will ensure the reliability, predictability, measurability, and observability of all the process. And most of the importance of assuring a great platform is the architecture standards, because if you don't have a great architecture, you can't stand to a great programming software delivery. It's not about having a low technical depth, because if you don't have a good architecture, you can live or sustain your program or your products. And availability, it's something that is very important, because your customer don't want to wait time when he's making sale or something on the web. So no downtime in your production environment. It's very, very important for your business. And the cost. When you are in IT enterprise, you have to think about the pros and cons of your tools, because tools are money as well. But you have to see in a long term, is this useful for your team now, and for how long? For 2, 3, 4, 10 years. So you have to have a great team to think about this, not just something that will solve a problem now, but in a long term. Okay. This one is good. It's about questioning if you are in the right path since you beginning your journey using agility and DevOps. So I can bring here some key points. The multidisciplinary teams, it's some way that you can ensure that this team will create bonds and play together, and has more beginning and becoming more effective performance teams. And so it's a good way for the leadership to incite them to learning all the time. Okay, not only expert in one technique, but in others. So this person can bring all the others together and solve some problems without great problem, great issue. And low turnover, it's when you see you are in the right path, because you have a strongly bonded teams. They stay together, they keep together, they don't go for the other enterprise because they are happy doing what they are doing. And that's how we can say about the leadership as well, because you have to have productive teams. So if it's someone is very happy doing what in your job, they can bring some ideas and bring some continuous improvement. And watch out about what you measure. You have to pay attention about the process metrics. Do not focus on individual metrics. Focus on the process. That's where your problems resides. Okay. I like the phrase of Elijah Goldrath talking about how you can measure me, and I will show you how I will behave. So it's very important to see what you are measuring. And there is the tips and traps. Based on my experience, and I have to say about the prioritization, sorry. So there is no silver bullet or no heroes. You have to prioritize the pain points. For instance, the process that has a direct relationship with the most used features, products by customers, like websites and applications. So don't lose your time doing something that is not the most important now for you or for your customers, okay? And about the pipelines, define which pipelines should be created first by choosing then by technology or the most used and so on. About communications, it's very important. Share every decision before you put in practice to avoid misunderstanding. Sometimes you have a good planning to introduce some process or some tool, and if you don't communicate this before, you can really mess it up, mess it all by experience. And be careful on measure process, as I told in the slide before. And be careful as well with the pipelines that must be useful and use it for all. And if not, ask yourself, why not? So you can take action about that. Sometimes they don't use it because of the gates, they don't want to face, or something related to not knowing about the advantage to use the right pipeline. And don't waste time on what's about time. It's about a system that need an upgraded or will be decommissioned. So pay attention on what you have to do now and take care about your monoliths. If you're not transforming or migrating your monolith to the microservices systems, so you have to leave them to handle with them later. And ensure your corporative architecture is designed with appropriate patterns, end-to-end patterns to ensure traceability. And for my experience, if you don't have these kind of patterns, you can lose much time assuring that all parts of the process had a pattern to ensure the traceability. It's very sad when you have to do this during digital transformation, because if you want to have continuous delivery and deployment, if you don't have these patterns, you can't achieve them. So it was a quick chat with you and answering my first question about agility and DevOps. For me, they are the perfect match, because for me, Agile and DevOps can live separately. It's all about being together, having the Agile mindset and the DevOps mindset, thinking about all the process, all the people involved in how to automate them, and bring all the quality, security to the software development. Okay. And I hope you had enjoyed this. And here is my link on LinkedIn. And if someone have questions, can send me a message. I will be happy to answer all of them. And if there is no question, I can wait here for a while to answer them. And sorry, it was my very first presentation in English. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.